David Cronenberg's The Fly is one of the best primal examples of a true horror film. That's not to say it's very scary, because it's not. There's only 2 surprise boo moments in the flick that'll make you jump, and there's no slashers popping up from behind the shadows with a machete or anything like that. Yet from about the halfway point to the end, it is truly the definition of horrific. It grabs you by the guts and doesn't let go, and by the end you're not sure whether to scream or sob or maybe laugh a little, because holy the ending is absolute madness.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I'm saying... I'm saying I'm an insect who dreamt he was a man and loved it. But now the dream is over and the insect is awake.
So I'm not a big Cronenberg fan. I find most of his movies almost redundantly depressing. I don't really care for how he usually shoots and frames his flicks, and yes, a lot of those aspects I dislike are still here. I mean, make no mistake, this is very much a Cronenberg flick, right down to the fact that he casts himself as, hey, guess what? The gynecologist. Yeah, David, we get it. You think vaginas are fascinating. But much like, say, Scorsese making Wolf of Wall Street or Kubrick making Spartacus, The Fly was a classic example of idiosyncratic director adapting his style to fit a big-budget Hollywood genre flick, and all of the elements just working perfectly. The movie opens right off the bat with Seth Brundle hitting on reporter Veronica by vaguely describing the amazing invention he's created.
What am I working on? I'm working on something that'll change the world and human life as we know it.
Change it a lot or just a bit? You'll have to be more specific.
What do you want me to be specific here in this room with half the scientific community of North America eavesdropping?
10 seconds after the opening credits, and the flick is just not wasting any time, and I love it for that. This scene also establishes 2 things. Visually speaking, this is going to be about as 80s of a movie as you can get, and Jeff Goldblum is just awesome.
Listen, maybe this is a bad idea.
Oh, it's too late. You've already seen them. Can't let you leave here alive.
I can't imagine how hard it must have been to cast a guy who can act a little buggy and twitchy and weird, but also still be charming and handsome. Steve Buscemi would have nailed the first bits, but can you picture him romancing Gina Davis? Oh god, I just pictured it. I threw up in my mouth a little. So Brundle has invented a teleporter, unfortunately can only teleport inanimate objects, hence why he doesn't want her revealing the story just yet. She brings us up with her magazine editor slash ex-boyfriend slash total douchebag, Stathis. A stupid name, Stathis. Anyways, he obviously doesn't believe either of them, so Brundle convinces her to spend a lot of time with him as he figures out how to make it transport living things.
Listen, you're not doing a very good job of convincing me. I think the world should know about it now, and I think I should be the one to tell it.
You should tell it. But, not yet. Look, what do you got so far?
Enough to make you nervous.
Why not get more? Let me become your major project. I'm talking about a book, not a magazine article. Follow me and my work day by day in as much detail as you can stand.
You'd think he'd start with mice or something, but nope, straight into baboons, but boy, it does not go well. So all of these establishing scenes take some time. I mean, the movie is only about an hour and a half long, and it's over 30 minutes before Brundle hops in the pods himself. First time I saw the flick, all of this kind of bored me, but rewatching it proves how smart Cronenberg and co-screenwriter Charles Pogue were. The original Fly had more suspense, but also less heart. I didn't care about the relationship between scientist and wife, therefore the inevitable transformation wasn't remotely tragic. Here we're seduced into thinking this is a nice romance, and both actors display a lot of adorable chemistry. Watching them work together and fall in love is absolutely pivotal for giving a shit about the nasty stuff later on.
You're very cute. You know that?
Am I?
Veronica is basically stalked by the asshole Stathis, who threatens to blow the whole story. She goes out to deal with him, Brundle's upset and jealous and drunk, and finally hops in the pods, but of course there's an unseen problem in there with him, and it does smell like cow poop. Here's where The Fly essentially becomes an anti-superhero movie. How many times have we seen the joke where a radioactive spider would probably just give someone cancer instead of superpowers? Well, that's what happens here. Brundle is suddenly super strong and fast and powerful, and it seems like this could lead up to a Marvel Comics origin story, but instead it just keeps getting more and more twisted. Goldblum becomes hyperactive and rude and aggressive, his skin becoming gross in reasonably progressive ways. These scenes are the most obviously related to the AIDS epidemic that was spreading at the time, and if you want to look at it like one of those metaphorical kind of things, it definitely works, but really, this sort of body horror paranoia can be creepy just about any time, regardless of what it actually represents.
You're afraid to be destroyed and recreated, aren't you? I bet you think that you woke me up about the flesh, don't you? But you only know society's straight line about the flesh. You can't penetrate beyond society's sick, gray fear of the flesh. Drink deep, or taste not the plasma spring. See what I'm saying? I'm not just talking about sex and penetration. I'm talking about penetration beyond the veil of the flesh.
So he starts going really crazy, heading off to a bar to pick up a lady who can handle all his gross fly. This scene is pure schlock, but the effects of the twisted arm look fantastic, and the morning after leads to one of the most famous of all movie lines.
I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid!
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
The character of the bar lady is actually kind of off-putting, if for no other reason than this is essentially a 3-character movie. I can see why it's been adapted to stage plays and oh my god, a musical, are you kidding me? Because there's only 3 main characters and basically only 1 main set. Which makes the movie sound small, but that's not the right word. Suffocatingly claustrophobic. There, that's better. Brundle realizes Veronica might be right in being scared of what's happening to him, and that's when the flick hits the point of no return for grossness. Brundle discovers what's happening to him, and Veronica discovers she's pregnant with Brundle's kid. He gets worse and worse with the costumes and the makeup being absolutely eye-popping. I mean, seriously, movie monsters just don't look as good anymore. They even use the rotating room effect they did in Inception. Nowadays, they just CGI the bastard bouncing off all the walls. The scene where Veronica fully realizes how bad he's gotten is a masterpiece of great performances and disgusting as shit makeup and effects.
My ear. No. I'm scared.
An interesting aspect of these scenes is how Cronenberg never plays them up for suspense or terror. Hiding Brundle in shadows only for us to see him the same time as Veronica would have been far scarier. Hell, even the version from the 50s did that. But Cronenberg isn't going for scares here. He's going for the deeply unsettling, the deeply troubling feelings brewing inside you the more you watch your nervous, handsome Kea-Kea-Keatician become the human embodiment of the Taco Bell shits.
That's disgusting.
Veronica wants a baby out of her, and the douchebag ex-boyfriend starts manning up, taking care of her, whereas Brundle starts stalking her, and wait, holy shit, did this movie just pull a Psycho? You bet your ass it did. With only 20 minutes left in the movie, you suddenly find yourself rooting for a selfish reporter and her awful ex to get an abortion and murder the main character. Your preconceptions of story and character logic are totally thrown out the window with The Fly, and goddamn is it awesome. Brundle snatches up Veronica, wanting to merge her body with his to either cure himself or just become one big, happy, icky family. I don't know, don't question Fly logic. All this leads to the final confrontation, which is among the best 10 minutes of filmmaking I've ever seen in a horror film. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. Brundle uses the power of acid vomit to f***ing melt Stathis' hand and foot, and then he finally melts into the ultimate macabre animatronic the world has ever seen from a Canadian director. He tosses Veronica in, but Stathis saves the day by shooting the connecting tubes right before teleportation, which makes Brundle teleport and combine with the actual metal pod itself, popping out as a disgusting metal fly human hybrid that's just about the most pathetic thing ever.
I can't. No, I can't.
This ending is so much sadder and nihilistic than we expect, even from a horror film, primarily because we like these 2 characters so much. Take away anything from the admittedly slow first half of the film, and the last half wouldn't be anywhere near as powerful. So yeah, people could bitch about some of the logic or science behind The Fly, like how a baboon blows up immediately, but the conversion of Fly Monster takes weeks, but, screw it, whatever. This movie wasn't designed to have dissertations written about it. It was made to be an incredibly uncomfortable and shocking movie-watching experience. The only problem I really have with it is the goddamn lighting. Kitchens do not look like this. Moons don't have that much blue. God, I hate obviously fake movie lighting. It takes me right out of the flick. But hey, if that's the worst nitpick a person can have, that's pretty good, right? Anyways, most Cronenberg films I find too endlessly dour and depressing. His Dead Ringers movie is pretty much the only time I will never be able to sit through a film again just because it bummed me out so much, and hell, I've seen Requiem for a frickin' Dream 50 times. But The Fly finds a perfect balance and just the right levels of Cronenberg body horror depression with quirky acting, amazing 80s special effects, gothic Howard Shore bombast on the soundtrack, and all the leather jackets and perms you could ask for. You can keep your stingers and fake scares and slashes and torture porn. For me, true horror isn't always something that makes you jump or gets you scared of the dark. It's stuff like The Fly, an insidious, sneaking presence that sucker punches you right in the heart. I give it 4.5 fries out of 5.